Hello and welcome back to the BDTV Breakfast Show. Now, this is social listening, and this is where we get to discuss the stories making the rounds on social media. My name is Elizabeth Musa, and joining me today, as always, is
Nyeka Valentine. Elizabeth, what do we have?
We have a lot today. Let's start off with a story that's got Atiku, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, talking about the president's claim. Now, that's the current president's claim. Now, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar is demanding answers from President Bola Tinubu about a curious detail he shared during a recent event. While speaking at a government program, President Tinubu claimed that he had a classmate at Chicago State University named Alex from Belarus. That statement raised eyebrows, especially after people online pointed out that the only known Belarusian named Alex linked to President Tinubu is Alex Zingman, a businessman with a long trail of controversy, including allegations of arms trafficking and shady financial dealings. Atiku says the math doesn't add up. Like they say, the math isn't mathing. Now, Zingman was reportedly born in 1966, and President Tinubu graduated in 1979. That would have made Zingman just 13 years old at the time President Tinubu graduated from Chicago University. So now, former Vice President Atiku, amongst other Nigerians, are asking for clarity on who this Alex from Belarus is. Is it truly Alex from Belarus? All these facts and figures of President Tinubu having graduated in 1979 and Zingman reportedly being born in 1966, it's just not adding up. That would be that, you know, this Mr. Zingman in question, Mr. Alex Zingman in question, that happens to be the only Alex Zingman that is tied to President Tinubu. That would have meant that he would have just been 13 years old at the time where he graduated from Chicago University. So it's like, help us understand this math. But, I know you have probably a lot to say about this. But let's see some of the reactions on social media very quickly. Then I'll know your take on President Tinubu's claim. So that's a conversation, or that's a post right there from Mark Obi. Mark Obi said, it's so disheartening to know that, now he mentioned the president's official handle, and said he's still struggling to prove authenticity of his credential. In a more serious country, it will never be a sitting president. Let's see more reactions. Ilori Oladapo says, going to university doesn't translate automatically to acquiring the certificate of such a university. For you to be entitled to the certificate of a university, you must be found worthy in character and learning. Very, very true. Abe says, so since 2023, this man has still been looking for who to present as a schoolmate. What a shameful act. Should it be too hard to get? What a shameful act. Should it be too hard to get if you really finished from the same or the said school? And that's the question. Then Ade Tokumbo says, let's be clear. Tinubu said Alex went to the same school, not that they were classmates. But Atiku, pointing out Alex was just 13 when Tinubu graduated, still raises serious questions. Are we being told the truth, or just another carefully crafted half story?
So, before we begin to talk about this thing, even though we're giving a preamble, let's understand that uneasy lies the head that wears the crown. And this cuts across board. Now, it is in no way me trying to make excuses for President Tinubu or make excuses for those who are trolling him online, or Atiku himself who is basically attacking him. We already know being a politician means you have a big, bull's eye on your back moving around, let alone being the president of Africa's most populous nation, which is Nigeria. Having said so, there is no leader around the world that doesn't have one issue or the other. Donald Trump, how many counter Islam at him?
Absolutely.
Let's be honest. What about Putin? All right. Again, I'm just trying to look at it from the flip side before I go on the other end. So let us first and foremost understand and establish the fact that as a leader, you are bound to be abused. You are bound to have a lot of target look, you're a moving target.
There's a lot of scrutiny.
Most definitely. Having said so, now back to Nigeria and Tinubu's issue regarding his school, regarding everything, and
Alex from Belarus.
All about it now. It was what I saw on the internet. Someone said the mysterious Alex. But whichever it is, the mysterious Alex, whether he was 13 years old at the time or maybe 14, 15, you know, then for me, it doesn't matter how old he was. The point is that, look, once there is a small stain on the shirt, right, if not taken off on time, it will spread to the collar, you know, and every other part of the body. Small stain on the hand, I mean to say, spread all over your white shirt. It's the same thing we're seeing here. You know, President Bola Tinubu has had a lot of controversies surrounding, you know, the charges in America, surrounding school, surrounding that. A lot of stuff will come out.
And he's still standing.
He's still standing. And which brings me to a statement he made, I saw on YouTube, where he said, look, they've abused him and abused him.
They abused me.
They are, exactly. But him being who he is, the more you abuse him, the more he does the work done. And at the end of the day, he's winning, you're losing. So whether or not Nigerians come out as a whole to say, look, whether he went to the school or he didn't go to the school, he graduated at a certain time or not, opposition parties will look for something to target. Whether the math is not mathing, unquote, quote and unquote, you know, meaning to say whether it's not adding up, you know, Atiku will have something to say. Atiku is seriously wanting to be the president of this country, okay? Which it is his, well, I wouldn't say constitution, I would say it's his right as a Nigerian. Okay? Right. It's not something that is far-fetched. There's been the corridors of power before. But for him to now weigh on this and highlight on it, of course, Nigerians will pick it up. But what did it take out of this story is this. Remember, those in glass houses should not throw stones. Before Tinubu became president, do you know how many times he had to throw stones at Buhari? How many times he had to, you know, howl on other people who were there?
That's just plain politics.
It's just part of it. So now he's now there. He should expect the heat.
President Tinubu is not complaining.
He's not complaining.
That's one thing about him. He's never complaining.
He has said he doesn't even look at social media.
It's probably his aides or his PA, you know, the people, his media agent that just always the complaints.
That's just it. He has made it before clear that, look, he doesn't read social media any longer. It gives him blood pressure problems. So we are just talking about this story, which needs to be spoken about. But there is something that is telling Nigerians and the world, which is this. Look, keep your integrity up, right? Do the right thing. You never know down the lane who will question what and when it will be questioned, as the case may be. But however it is, look, let's be on the fence and ask a question. Nigerians, what do you think? Do you think he's lying or not? If he
obviously think he's lying.
That's the point. If you think so, then I mean, go and ask him questions.
That's why they're asking on social media. That's why you saw those.
But guess what now? Guess what now? These questions now, as they are asking these questions, the big answer now should be: look, those who did all the screening, is it that they didn't know what they were doing?
Exactly. But again, that also tells you the kind of country that we are,
that's
where
point.
So many things can just go, and it shows the level of rot that has eaten deep.
But I was on the contrary, just to add to what you said. Now, Alex that he mentioned, have you also seen that they say Alex has some controversy also during his own time? You know, has some issues with the law and all that. You know,
that's even if that's the Alex in question
they're talking about. So give and take, whichever the case is, I will say that whatever you do before you get to limelight, make sure you keep a clean slate. Okay? Absolutely. And even if it's questioned, don't waste time to come out and debunk some things with proper facts. Again, the facts were delayed for a long time. Whether they were real facts or fabricated facts, as an answer to all these accusations, they were delayed. So I know what they say. When a lie lingers for too long, it might give evidence that it might be true. We're just saying allegedly. We're on the fence.
It's so alleged. I mean, shout out to Mr. Alex from Belarus. I wish you well in your endeavors.